Hey, it's David and welcome back to the shed. Today we're pushing on with the Yamaha Bobber build. It's been on stall for a long time over winter. During winter it was back to stock build with long mudguards so that I could ride it in the wet. Now the weather's improving and I'm able to ride once again, so it's time to get the Bobber build finished off. We got very close last time, very close indeed. So there's just some finishing off work, which I'm hoping to finish today, but we'll see. Now, if I can get everything I need to do done today, maybe in the next episode, we will actually see the Bobber in its final build. Well, let's find out. So let's go. Right, so here's all the metalwork that we've got to prep and paint. Mostly it's done. We've got the rear light mounts. We've got indicator mounts with a very basic license plate holder. We've got spring seat mounts here, and we've got the sort of slammed bobber seat mounts here. All of those parts just need finishing off. Are they the final parts I'll use on the bike? No, probably not. One of the things about a build like this is as you work, as you progress, so your skills improve. You learn things. You think, actually, a better way of doing it would be if I just did it like this, or if I just modified that, if I turned this piece the other way, and so forth. And that's how it goes. So every time you finish a piece, you look at it and you think, I could do that a different way, I could do it better. The problem with that sort of perfectionism is that if you followed that path, you'd never finish, absolutely never finish. So at some point you have to go, okay, it is what it is, let's move on. And that's where I am with this. There's a lot of different things I could do, and I could certainly improve what I've done, but I'm not going to. Not yet. Going to get the build done, going to get this stuff cleaned up, prepped, painted, and then we're going to do the wiring for the back end. I'm not going to talk too much in the prep of this because it's just prepping metal and painting it. But as I say, painting it, we'll just have to see whether or not this will warm up enough. I'm not convinced. So enough talking, let's get on. Whoa, right, so that's the grinding and the cleaning done, and they're ready for paint. Now the shed has warmed up. I've had a break for lunch. Unfortunately I came back and did a bit more grinding, which wasn't good because now there's a bit of metal in the air, which isn't great. It's not good for your lungs, and it's not good for the paint either. But I'm going to open the door, let some clean air, colder air unfortunately, come back in, see if I can get the dust to settle, and prep the parts for paint, get them sprayed up, and then if I've got time, what are we on? Yeah, I don't think I've got a job I need to go and do. I need to go down the gym, and then if I've got time when I come back, I'll maybe put a little more paint on and have a look at the wiring. So let's go. So the painting was done and that's all okay, except it didn't quite work out as I planned. When I've been reorganising the shed, which is what I've been doing recently, I built some extra shelving, moved stuff around and that sort of thing. During the course of that, the rear mudguard got a little bit scratched, so I thought, while I've got the paint out, I'll just blow over some paint on it. It's not a big deal. I haven't rubbed them down, I haven't painted them properly. It's just a holding coat of paint. Painted them, moved them to a safe, well, painted the mudguard, moved it to a safe place. In the process, dropped it. It rolled on the ground, covered in dirt and dust and debris. Complete disaster. So I wiped it over with some thinners, took all that off, but it's not great. So I'm just going to have to wait for it to dry, then I'll rub it down, then I'll repaint it. Ha, such is life. Now, indicators mount here, rear light mounts on the end here, and the same here. So rear light mounting is here, indicators are down here. Here we've got a clear space, so the wires can just run underneath this crossbar here, and I need to figure out some way of doing it so that they become relatively quick release. So if they join here, because obviously things like the rear lights and brake need to be split, so they come here and here, but there's no, I don't need any intermediate connectors except for convenience if I want to, say, replace something with the indicators or an indicator or a brake light. It might be useful just to have some inline connectors, but aside from that, it can be a single piece, so it will just unplug and the wiring loom will come out here with the units, the lighting units. So I'm going to play with some wire now and figure out what to do. Now you will have what I did do was use a test light in here and actually figure out which of these wires did which. Now conveniently, these two single ones here are the indicators, which makes life really easy, and the central post of the three is the rear lights. So that just leaves you, I think, brake lights on top, and this one is, bottom one here is the common earth for everything. Right, let's have a play. Right, so I've had a quick play with the wiring. This is the plug for the spare cable I bought from the breakers. I've just removed the black wire from here. So there we go. So I've removed that from the connector. You can buy these sort of things from eBay or whatever that allow you to remove the connectors. In this case, it's just this. I mean, you know, you can do it yourself with a bit of wire, whatever, and you poke it in. You can just see a shiny bit there. There's a tang that sticks up there. You can see it. When it's pushed into the connector, that just hooks over a piece of plastic. So if you look carefully, it's on the opposite side from the curly bits. So all you need to do is shove this down there, push the tang in. It's a bit of a fiddle, and you can pull the wires out. Now I was going to replace it with a new one of these. You can buy these, again, eBay and whatever. So that's the same plug, and I would be able to connect it in, but then I've got to crimp all the connectors in, so I'm being lazy. So what this has left me is the brown wire goes here to this indicator, the green wire goes here, the blue and the yellow, which are the lights and brake lights, go over there. They're going to have to be jointed up in here and down to here. So if I put this in there into its place, so these two cables run separately, the indicator cables. The blue and the yellow get split into two connectors, or they'll become two wires each one, and I've got to add an earth cable in here which will split into four because there's one going to each unit. And I'll probably just do it into four just to make life easy, or maybe into two, and then each one into two. Two going this way, two going this way, and that'll be it. So I'm going to have a play with that. I'm going to try and crimp this connector on to fit in here, and see if I can create a lead for that, and then it should all be simple. This stuff all needs to be sleeved up. I will need to crimp connectors onto the ends of each of these wires to connect into each of the light units, and thinking about it, I will make them easily removable. So if I ever need to replace an indicator, which I have had to do once before, then I can just unplug that indicator, buy a new indicator, plug it in, without having to revisit and cut and crimp the actual wiring. So I don't need to do it, but I'm probably going to go that way. It's a little bit more work, but I think in the long run it's a better solution, although it does open you up to corrosion in the connectors, so it's a bit swings and roundabouts. But worst case, I can always cut them off if I find I have problems and just crimp directly so it's hardwired in, and should I ever need to change it, well, I'll just cut some wires and crimps off, so no big deal. Okay, let's go. Now, it's all a bit ghetto doing it here on the floor next to the bike. I could put it on a worktop, but well, I could if I get to a worktop. So I just got a bit of that says it's 8 amp. The black wire, the earth wire, was a little heavier duty, I think, on this than on the previous one, but given it's serving 4, I think it's just might as well go with something a little bit heavy duty. Now the connector is just a simple pin. So bringing this back here, so this will simply slide, or I should say I picked up the wrong one, haven't I? Let me get the right one out, because we want the female connector, of course, which is going to go in here. To make sure I put it in the right way around when I come to do that, but it'll be that way around. So we simply need to connect this into here. So in actual fact, I've probably cut that a little bit long. That looks about right. Now, here's the test. I've got various crimpers here, but which one will be the most suitable for this? And for once that worked. Surprisingly well. Will it work? It went click, and it's not coming out. Let's plug that back in. Right, power is on. And I think I said yellow was the lights, and the headlights are on. So, whoops, shit. What did I touch? Something smoked. So maybe it's the blue wire that's the lights. Yeah, something earthed out on my exhaust. Yeah. Okay, so blue is a headlight, and that means that my earth is connected. I probably should replace this whole plug, but we'll see how we go. So that looks good. Right, let's move on. I'll put a connector on the green wire, which should be for the left indicator, and I've just put the earth wire in here for the moment because this one's going to need to be split up into several different things. And let's see if I got it right. I should say the right indicator. Live wires there. Well, it's definitely not the left. I think I might have a bad connection. Ah, there we go. Simply didn't have it in there right. Okay, so left indicator looks good. So I'm going to push on, but I'm out of battery on the camera, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Okay guys, just on the very, very last strokes of battery, but quickly, I've just finished wiring up one side. The wiring's a bit rough, it needs tidying up, it needs putting into a loom and so forth, but before you die, have a look at this. Now, I'm calling that a success. So again, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys again soon.